Alright everybody, so I wanted to show you one of my newer additions to the home. Just going to try and knock this out in a couple quick videos because there's a bunch of different things. So this is my landing, which will eventually, the stairs will go about where the ladder is and a little bit further over from here. The landing's about 59 inches up, so I can stand here and go to either side very easily. Stay out of that. Cut yourself. Things are a little bit of a mess right now as I get organized and put stuff away. Right now the cats are eating, and this guy came up here because he likes to try and eat everybody else's food, even though he has tons of food, including a prescription diet stuff that he needs to eat himself down in the kitchen. But anyways, so that's a landing. It's actually, so along this side it is tied into the 2x4s. Over here, it's tied into the studs in the wall. Over here it's tied into a stud in this wall, and then down here there's a temporary board because there will actually be another sort of but facing the other way, a kind of stage beneath this. It'll go out a little bit further. That's basically so that there's enough space under here for the combo washer dryer once I get around to that. Since I'm actually looking at the LG one that's 4.3 cubic feet. So it can handle a bit more than the others, and it is a highly recommended one. The way that this is set up, you can see a lot more clutter. Like I said, kind of moving things around and back and forth as I get this figured out. This is 2x4s with, we have supports under there, also 2x4s. Obviously, like, this is tied in with a heck of a lot of screws for right now. I probably will also still have something here that looks a little better as an additional support, but this will rest on another shelf level, whatever, where there's going to be two steps attached to that is going to come out a little bit further and actually connect to the floor, connect to the steps, which will connect to the wall. So, then the other thing I wanted to show you, and as I slowly try and get figured out how to organize everything, built these two shelves. That one I left a little space there just for, because that is a convenient corner for all my, brooms and mops and stuff, Swiffer-y things. Have these two. Long term, I don't want to have two litter pans sitting here, but there are easier things to deal with than cats pooping on the floor. So anyways, so I built these two shelves here. I just have brackets holding them up rather than trying to do anything too fancy. This part actually I'm kind of maybe a little bit proud of. It's basically, so I notched out there for the molding, whatever you would call that, the little strips that they have going down in all the corners. And then I brought this in here and I cut it intentionally a little bit long, and it didn't come out quite perfect, but I just set it down on the sink, drew underneath with my pencil just to mark out where that edge was, and then I just used a dovetail saw to cut that out. So that actually came out pretty well considering the tools I was using. And then let's see, the one other thing, I'm probably still going to put a shelf going up here above the mirror. I figure out exactly how I'm going to do some of this. I did install $20, $23, $25, whatever, off of Amazon shower head instead of the one that came with the home. I'd not specified any kind of special kind of shower head. I anticipate I might replace it, and I like this one a lot better. I did put magnetic strips, although now I gotta get some super glue because the tips are coming undone where it's uncurling. Now that I know I like it, I'm gonna super glue those tips down so it doesn't come off. Works very well. Did these shelves over here. I really like this. This is basically becoming my closet space. Now this one's funky. I took the remainder of the track from this. I've actually got on order more of the little attachment point things. As you can see, it's not perfectly straight, but I need to put I'm going to put a block of wood up here at that point to make sure the clothing doesn't come flying off. Right now it's perfectly fine. The kind of cool thing with this, let me sit down there, the cat food can, is it's not just that the clothing slides out, but it completely turns. So makes it very easy to look at my clothing and whatnot. At some point, I might put some kind of a wall down here to separate it out as a closet, but obviously for right now, this works fine. And again, the cool thing about this is if I wanted to, as far as just for storage purposes, and I got this caught on something, I could have my clothing like this, as opposed to just hanging straight inside the closet. And anyways, it's for making a closet in a space like this. I really like this track, and this stuff is pretty inexpensive, and you can just cut it with a pair of tin snips. So anyways, that's my organizational level at this point, which is not very high. Oh, one thing that's kind of cool, worked with the shower. So I have in all my sinks and everything, I have these kinds of little drain catchy things. That one's probably really gross with cat hair right now. In the kitchen sinks. What I've done before in a shower is put one of those upside down, which of course in the process of things I end up smashing the crud out of it. But I realized sort of accidentally that with this, and that's really gross, I need to clean that out. Anyways, with this sitting over top of that holds it in place, and it has been fantastic for catching all the cat hair and stuff. So I don't know, that's where things are at the moment. I don't think there's anything else. I tried to do this earlier and ended up going 20 minutes, so trying not to go too long. Those are the main things. Let's show you this cluttery area out here in the kitchen right now. This is these boxes aren't completely full, but they have some of my pots, pans. I got that thing over there for the plates, and it's actually really convenient, but I think there's going to be some reworking of that as well, as I plan to do sort of a cupboardy, cabinety type shelf over here that's going to hold a lot of my plates and stuff. My pots right now are going underneath there. My pans, I like a hanging kind of thing for those. I'm kind of working out exactly how I'll do that. But this is not just dishes and stuff. This is also flour and cornmeal, and I think I spotted some sugar in there. A lot of dry goods stuff that from my old apartment. So it's just kind of figuring out exactly how I want to store it. A lot of that stuff, a lot of the dry goods, once I'm done with the steps, will actually go into the shelves and the steps. But for right now, this thing, as it turns out, part of the reason for building this, trying not to go too long here, but part of the reason for building this was because I had tried to, at one point, doing something stupid, trying to step from over there to over there in one step, and I fell all the way down here, and on my back, got the wind knocked out of me. My back still hurts a little bit from just not internally, but just there's some bruise spots. Anyway, so this makes it actually makes that other loft a lot more accessible. The ladder doesn't really do that. Then also this thing, you can see all the cat litter grossness. Anyways, started to give, and I think part of it is putting it back together. I think part of it is that they weren't jumping down onto it in the motel room, and now that was putting a lot more stress on it. So with having it multiple levels, they were starting to give in. So far, this one hasn't been any problem for them. But I actually duct taped stuff up and whatnot just because they actually fell through onto, luckily, just my socks. Felt a little bad, but it was kind of funny. Anyways, so work in progress here as I figure out where everything's going and all that. But for right now, it's very comfortable, and I'm very much enjoying it. I think I've gone 10 minutes now or close to it, so I'm going to go and stop for now. But I just want to give everybody an update as to where I am with things, because a lot has changed. And hopefully next time you see it, there actually may be stairs here and covered thing over here and all the clutter gone. So we'll see. Talk to y'all later.